Dollemocracy. Facing down pessimistic politics with realistic optimism.
So this story is going viral because it's rather salacious, and this Maryland police officer was filmed in the parking lot of a park embracing a woman in front of his car, like hugging and kissing, and then they get into the back seat.
Then they both get into the back seat
of his cop car.
Look, yes, of the cruiser, of the SUV cruiser. You're right, it is salacious. But it's also funny, and it's all the things that make it be viral. But it's also very important that we talk about this, because this cannot be allowed to just go on. We don't need another 30-day paid investigation suspension / vacation for a guy who, this isn't, now we're going to talk about this, this isn't his first foray into trouble. This guy is a problem.
Yeah, and I would say that's the more important aspect of the story, is that there's always an assumption when an officer finally reaches the point where he does something so terrible that it ends up viral in the news. And the assumption is he's done this before.
Yeah.
This is a pattern for this person. And I think it usually happens that we can, through reporting, find out that that's true. And this is another case with this guy where, oh, weird, the cop who is using his on-duty time to get a blowjob in the backseat of his cruiser is also someone who potentially could have not been a cop in 2019 when he was investigated for beating his girlfriend's 3-year-old child.
We were just trying to have a good time, go to play soccer.
Nelson Ochoa says he was in South Lawn Park in Oxon Hill on Labor Day enjoying a game of soccer with other families when a Prince George's County police cruiser pulled up and parked. He doesn't know what made him start to record, but he did.
As soon as I started recording, a car pulled up and then a young lady came out.
He recorded the two appearing to embrace and kiss and then get into the back of the officer's squad car.
We couldn't believe what we were seeing, and then what really made us go like, wow, like this is crazy is when, like I said, when the car started rocking a little bit to the left and right, that's when we were like, wow, this is crazy. And broad daylight with kids around. He was in the car for about 35 to 40 minutes.
Afterward, he says both quickly drove away in separate directions. Prince George's County Police released a statement on X, formerly known as Twitter, saying they were aware of the video and are investigating to determine the circumstances. They tell the I-Team they have identified the officer, though they have not released his name. Multiple police sources tell me it's Francesco Marlett, seen here in this picture. We reported on him back in 2016 when he was accused of beating his then-girlfriend's 3-year-old son. In 2019, the father of that child told me in an exclusive interview that he was trying to keep Marlett away from his son.
He would say, Daddy Francesco, which is his mom's boyfriend, hits me in my face and hits me in my stomach, and he's really mean.
According to the boy's medical records, the 3-year-old was spanked, resulting in a head injury. The Prince George's officers who responded that day ruled it an accident. A grand jury disagreed and charged Marlett. But after agreeing to anger management, Marlett never stood trial. The charges were dropped, his record expunged, and he was back on the force. His attorney declined to comment on the case at the time. A few years later, Marlett is making news again, now, in this viral video.
I woke up this morning and it had 2 million views already.
Ochoa says he hopes police will take a close look at what's going on in this video.
Yeah, I'm glad I caught all of that on camera so Prince George can see the type of officers they have in office, working for them, supposedly protecting the community.
Always record the police.
I hope that guy's safe. The guy who recorded.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little nerve-wracking for him. But definitely always record the police, because you never know. You might catch someone going into the back of a cruiser for 40 minutes. I said blowjob earlier. It was obviously more than that. Or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Okay? So you heard the story in there. He was accused of beating a 3-year-old child. And the cops ruled it an accident when they came up on the scene.
Again, here's another instance, going back to our follow-up earlier about the Coffee City, Texas thing, of cops investigating themselves. Self-investigation leads to this, where 6 years ago, if they'd gotten this guy off the force, we could have avoided this entire situation.
Right.
He would have been gone, would not have been a cop.
Right. And so the cops ruled it an accident. The grand jury disagreed and charged him. And I also want to highlight, in the medical record, they said that the child had been spanked, resulting in a head injury. I don't...
Yeah.
What does that mean? That doesn't add up.
Right.
That's not okay. Why is that in the medical record like that?
Yeah.
But so the grand jury disagreed and charged him. He agreed to do anger management. And so
a prosecutor dropped the charges.
Yeah. And then he gets his record expunged. Would this happen to anyone who is not a cop?
Right.
For child abuse.
Whose colleagues respond, whose colleagues let him off the hook. His colleagues are also complicit here. We have just an absolute nightmare of a system where we're letting these bad apples be investigated by other bad apples, leading to more bad apple behavior.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah. So very disturbing case. And I know that the police force is talking about implementing additional standards surrounding certain behaviors that will not be allowed while officers are on duty.
Also, this isn't the first time where he's copping a feel. I saw other video of him in a parking lot where he's doing the same thing with another woman. They get in the car. So listen, if a guy gets away with things, he's naturally going to push the envelope and try to get away with more and more. And if he can get away with big things, little things like a blowjob in the backseat of a car, his work car, on duty, seems like a lot less risk,
Yeah.
Anyway, we'd love to know what you think. And by the way, this is right here. This is, the park in Alexandria where the cobblestone streets are that we were in that time? Mm-hmm. Right across the Potomac River is Oxon Hill, Maryland. It's right there.
Well, and also think about what the consequences would have been for a couple that was having sex in a backseat in a park
where there's children.
Right. I mean,
you could be jail time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's just violating the law out in the open, and I'm really glad that it was caught on camera because maybe this is finally for him, the thing that will allow him to have consequences that will prevent him from being a cop, or he'll just move to another state and be a cop somewhere else.
He could move to Coffee City, Texas.
Work from home.
We know
miles
what
away.
they like. We know what their standards are.
Yeah.
We'd love to know what you think. 657-464-7609. Of course, you can email a voice memo from your smartphone to IDoubtIt@Dollemore.com.